All right, people, I did it. I bought a new bike. I bought a Ninja 400. Nah, I'm kidding. Homeboy right there bought a new bike. I'm gonna ride it back home for him because he has not gotten his license yet. And yeah, we're gonna. I don't like having the key that way. So I haven't ridden a 400 ever. I haven't ridden a 400 ever. This is a... Oh shit, I forgot my headphones. Fuck.
One eternity later.
Okay, people, I'm back. I'm sorry. Forgot to put my headphones in. I gotta ride with AirPods in because I cannot deal with the wind noise and all that other shit. But, yeah, I haven't ridden a 400, and, you know, there's a lot of 400 hype out there. There's not a lot of 650 hype. Kind of breaks my heart. So I wanted to figure out why that was and why people love the 400 so much. So this is a 2018 400. I don't know if it has ABS. It's a sweet looking bike. I've already taken it for a spin. And for the most part, I'm not gonna lie, I get it. I understand why, you know, there's so much hype with this bike. People love this bike. It's a little ZX6 heart, you know, entry bike. What should we listen to? Oh yeah. Okay. All right, so let's see what it sounds like, at least in comparison to my 650. Very similar. It's obviously not as loud. It has the Leo Vinci exhaust. Super solid. It has that very classic twin cylinder sound. Aside from that, leg it to it. So this has been lowered by an inch. So maybe I'm not getting the full 400 experience. But I have no GPS, so I gotta follow him. It's been lowered by an inch, and I'm completely flat-footing it, which is super nice. Let's fix that. It's super dope. The throttle is super smooth. You know, like the 650, because it has a decent amount of torque, it just like, and especially mine, you know, I got the exhaust tune, air filter, you name it. It just, you know, that bike just pulls so hard, like in every gear. And whereas this bike, maybe, and I don't think this one is tuned, but the throttle's still pretty smooth. It's kind of lacking on the low end, but once again, you know, I feel like a tune would fix that up right quick. Yo, it is crazy. It goes up to 15,000 RPM. It's his first bike. Oh my god, mirrors! Oh wow! Okay, Ninja 400 gets plus 10 points because it has mirrors. But seating wise, this bike is pretty comfortable. It seats very similar to the 650. Not really a huge difference with seating there. Obviously the handlebars are a little bit more forward, so there's a, you know, it's a bit, I don't know, sportier, I guess. You know, I think on the 650 the way I sit, I'm kind of like up here. Here, you get a little bit of that sporty position, but not too much. The tank is really small. The 650 tank is small too, but this one is like a baby. Now, the one thing I will say is it is so easy to like throw around, like more so than the 650. I like completely get why people are obsessed with this bike and want to make it a track bike. It is so nimble. And like when I hopped on this bike, I was like, oh my god, I could probably like knee drag, you know, immediately. It's a sweet little bike, man. What do you say? All right, people, we just got some coffee, finished that. We are on the way home. My boy Justin's first bike. Let's give her. Oh man, she sound good. She sound good. All right, so let's get into the actual review. Would I recommend this bike to a beginner? 100%. It is an awesome bike. The power delivery is super forgiving. The ergos are nice. You know, this gets you into a slightly sporty position, more so than a 650. You know, the 650 is really meant for touring. It's not a super, you know, sporty bike. However, the one thing I will say is the 650 has a lot more torque, and it's a slightly larger bike. So if you're a bigger guy, maybe that makes sense. Now, because the 650 is not like as sporty, I wouldn't necessarily say you can't treat it as such. I definitely ride it like a sports bike. Now, so the only thing is I bet you the 650 does better on the highway. You know, you have more torque. You have more torque, generally more top speed. I'm looking back like I don't have mirrors. Yeah, that feels really good. It feels really good. This bike could definitely, you know, win from getting a tune. Okay, I can't even talk because all the wind. Okay, so on the highway, I definitely prefer the 650. It has a lot more punch, and the more like comfortable ergonomics probably, you know, make it better for, you know, longer rides. But to be honest, like, this isn't that far off, like, at all. And I'm sure with a tune and a few more mods, you know, you could make a 400 as zippy as fucking possible. And the added fact that this bike is so nimble, it just makes it so much better. Mirrors, I don't need to do that. It's a really solid bike, man. And okay, now the one thing I will say about this is price. As far as price is concerned, the 650 is definitely more more expensive. So for a first bike, this may make more sense. Like he bought it for around $4 grand, which is a really solid price. This only has 3,000 miles on it. So for a first bike, this might make more sense from a price perspective. Now I'll say, I could definitely see myself after some time wanting more power and wanting a bit more, you know, you start riding with grooves and whatever. Do you need more power? No. Are you gonna want it because we're all stupid? Yes. So from a power perspective, you could buy a 650 and you don't need any other bike at all. You can get a 650 and ride it for a really long time before you need a new bike. I've had mine for a few years now, and I want a ZX6 or, you know, 1000 just so I can have an inline 4. But to be honest, the 650 does everything I need it to. The way I have it set up right now, it goes up to upwards of 135 miles per hour. It's super torquey, really loud exhaust, all that shit. So with all that in mind, you know, you buy the bike that makes the most sense for your particular situation. Now I will say, if you do want to track, this probably is better just based on the ergos. Like I feel way more comfortable throwing this baby around than I do my 650. Plus it's lighter. I don't know about how much, but it is lighter. So, you know, let's see what a tuck looks like on this boy. What's this bad boy getting up to? Hey man, that's pretty solid. It got up to 100 miles per hour with ease. Really solid bike. Standing on it is solid. But like after riding one of these, I think my ideal setup would be have the 650 as like a cruiser and like just an all-around bike. Go to the 650. It's comfortable. You can do everything, you know, you want on a sports bike on that bike without sacrificing ergonomics. It has a top speed. Now you want a fast, zippy, like just little racetrack machine. This is your baby. It's a great first bike. Can't go wrong with either or. But my ideal setup would probably be the 650 for just all around messing around, just whatever. Have one of these for the track, and then get a ZX6 or a ZX10 for, you know, just those top speed thrills. See, like I have my toes, let me make sure I don't crash. I have my toes like perched on the footrest, right? So it's like just my toes on the footrest. It's super easy to do that on this bike. And by having my toes up there, I'm able to really grip the tank like nice and tight. On the 650, it's a little difficult to do that because the bike is set up for like a more like upright posture, a more upright seating position. So, you know, I ride it like a sports bike. I ride my 650 like a sports bike. I put my feet up. You know, I'm like, you know, I try to get as sporty as possible. But, you know, I guess I'm comfortable at sometimes. The great thing about that bike, though, is when I don't want to do that, I can chill. But I can, like, really chill. Like, I can be upright and be comfortable. This bike, very similar situation. But I do like that the pegs are slightly further back to allow you to do that. I myself eventually am thinking of getting a pair of rear sets for my 650 so that I could do that, because that would basically emulate this bike. If I could get some, the only thing is that, you know, all that shit is so expensive, and I've already poured so much money into that bike that I'm like, damn, rear sets are like a couple $100, handlebars are a couple $100. I'm like, I can spend all that money and get a new bike. And leading this bike is it's a freaking dream. It's so nimble, like it's like you don't need to try with this bike at all, like at all. I find myself with my 650 a lot of the times, you know, because the ergo is like I want to, like, you know, throw that joint around, and I can, but it's not at the same level as this joint. Like I like feel so comfortable. It's so comfortable just throwing this baby around. And the power delivery is good. I mean, the power delivery is really good. You know, because it's a lower CC bike, if you're doing this kind of riding, the kind of riding I'm doing, and just kind of like dogging it, you'll find yourself in 4th to 6th gear a lot of the time. But, you know, let's say you want to just chill. The power delivery is really nice. Like, you, as a beginner, you don't need any more, and even as an experienced rider, the way this bike delivers power is so nice. You can take it through corners with such ease. You know, it's like I can do this with my bike, but the level of comfort at which I'm doing it is just insane. You know, and I firmly believe that it's the clip-ons on my bike, because it's so high up. It can sometimes be a little difficult to. It can sometimes be a little difficult to get comfortable with, like, throwing it around like that. The funny part is that bike was designed The 650 was designed to be easy to ride, right? Like those ergonomics should make it easier to handle. But in my opinion, when you want to push it, it can get a little scary because, like on this bike, when I want to lean, I can commit to getting my knees and shoulders and butt off. Whereas on that bike, because my hands are so up, when I lean, my elbow is like sticking out to the side, and you know, it's difficult to have that like tucked and tapered sort of feel. But you know, do I regret getting my 650 now that I've ridden this 400? Hell no. I think the 650 is capable of doing everything this bike could do. It's just designed for a different purpose. Like, I have no need to get any other bike, you know, after the 650. You know, I could eventually get a 1000, or, you know, I'm definitely going to get a ZX6R sometime soon. But do I need that? Absolutely not. If I had this bike, do I feel like I would need an upgrade? 100%. Like, I still hop on my bike right now, and it's still like, you know, like a crazy feeling, you know. But the way this bike delivers power, I could see myself after some time, you know, being like, all right, like it's definitely time to upgrade. All right, let's talk about it. Now, I guess ultimately is, what's my recommendation? My recommendation is, if you want a bike, a cheap bike that you can throw around, like you want to spend like anywhere from 3 to 5,000 and get a really clean bike, get a 400, man. If you want your first bike to last you a few years, like you want to buy a bike that does it all, get a 650. Not saying that you'll get tired of a 400. Just me knowing myself and how I ride, that's how I felt. I got tired of my 650 at some point, but it was capped. I was just yearning for some speed, and I had to like dumb that down so I don't, you know, kill myself.